A Jewish story, Grandpa's Hasidic Stories, portion of the week, Toldot. Every time Rebbe Zelig used to come to college, he stayed at the home of a certain Hasid. Rebbe Zelig was accustomed to spending many hours over his prayers, and out of respect for him, his host would always wait at the synagogue until he too was ready to go home. On one Sabbath, however, the host felt too weak to be able to wait so long, and decided to go home and recite the Kiddush over a goblet of wine and to partake of some light refreshments. Before leaving, he asked his son to wait in the synagogue for Rebbe Zelig to finish his prayers and to accompany him home, where the family would be waiting with their Sabbath meal. Rebbe Zelig was old and blind, and as he and his young companion passed through a certain street on their way home, he suddenly stood still and said, "At this very place I suddenly feel a fragrance so beautiful that I cannot go on." The young man marveled at this remark, for he smelled nothing whatsoever. They stood still at this place for some time, until Rebbe Zelig decided that it was time to move on. When the host heard of this incident from his son, he too wondered as to its possible meaning. They tried to get to the bottom of it, and in the course of their investigations discovered that at that very spot over a century earlier had stood the house of Rebbe Avraham Abela Gombina, the saintly author of Magen Avraham. It was his piety then that had left the fragrance that Rebbe Zelig sensed. Questions. How is it possible to smell a fragrance after 100 years? Question number 2. Our sages say that such a fragrance was just a whiff of the Garden of Eden. So can you imagine what the fragrance of the Garden of Eden is like? Shabbat Shalom from Grandpa.